Hello. I figured I would make a little video today talking about Flipgrid. It is something that I have used now in the kindergarten through fifth grade classroom, as that is the computers sections that I have. But something that I love truly at any age, any grade, and it was even something where I grew familiar with it because it was used in my college classes. Now, I can't say Iowa State has this being used all over the place, but in the education program, especially for those taking the tech minor, which I did, a lot of the classes try to infuse technology. And one of those things was Flipgrid. What I loved as a student, it goes either way. If you're someone uncomfortable seeing yourself, there's options, and I'll get to that in a bit. But if you're someone who looked at it the way I did, it was awesome. I didn't have to type my responses. It was something where I could just vocalize it. I'm more of someone who works through the thought process easier if I just talk about it out loud, and kind of work through my thoughts that way. And you are also able to communicate with others. So here is kind of like after I've been logged in, but I will go show you. So this is, if you go to flipgrid.com, it'll bring you to this, and you'll go to up here on the top right. It says educator login. So click on that. If you have an account, if you already have an account, then you probably already know about this. But so you would just log in with Google right there. If you don't have an account, I believe you can just hit Google login and it'll automatically create one. It'll just know that this isn't an account yet, but it'll just do it. Otherwise, you just click right here on this create one and then sign up with Google. Now I have an account, so I'm not going to create one this second. I will just log in with Google. So I'm going to Google login, and then I will log in with my Arweeva. I haven't signed in on Firefox yet. Okay, so then you'll get logged in, and when you were a brand new account to Flipgrid, it'll probably have some big bubble, like give you a tour, or make your first grid. I think right away it asks you to make your first grid. So I did, and I named mine computers, because that is right now what I'm going to mostly use mine for is my computers classes. You can name it whatever. And how it kind of works is you create grids, which is kind of like your sections. So if you are in the middle school, you could have like, first hour, second hour. You could have a grid for just each hour. However you want to do it. You could have a grid for each subject. You could have a grid for each topic. And then within that grid, you create topics. So then, for an example grid, say you're reading a book together, you could have a grid be the book title, and then your topics in that grid that you create could be like, chapter 1 is this topic, or the next topic is, character development. And it's really however you want to structure it. It can be about any subject, it can be about anything. It's all up to you. I made one computers. So as you can see here, when I click on that, I've done introduction one for all grades, kindergarten through fifth, and second grade. I was in there, and I've done this twice, and I also gave a favorite subject one that we did together. But I will just show. So once you have your grid, then you can add a new topic. So you click right here, and then right here you give it a title. So I'm just going to say it's a test, topic. And then you can you set your recording time. So that's totally up to you. It goes from 15 seconds. To be honest, I don't know when you're only going to want a 15-second reply, but say only 45 seconds. That's on average about what my introductions were. A minute 30, up to 5 minutes. And that's totally up to you. You could set it longer than you need. It just kind of gives a limit. And if you say like, part of your rubric is that you have to give a 2-minute speech. Well, then you can set it for 2 minutes. So that is totally up to you. And then you put a prompt, which normally, if this is being used in a classroom, it's used in ways that are for like a discussion or giving a book talk. So you can kind of put whatever you want here. So you can put your question. So a question, I could ask that you guys would have to answer is, like, how do we create our first Flipgrid topic? And that would be the question I would be asking you. And then you can kind of put a focus, which is basically just a big picture. So when students go to this grid that you are creating right now, what kind of shows up. So if you were in kindergarten through 5th grade, you maybe saw on a student computer, or you looked yourself. I had like my Bitmoji that said, hello, welcome to Mr. Weller's. And I had my little thing here in the prompt is where I typed like, I'm so excited to work with you. I'm excited to meet you. Please introduce yourself, say your name. And what's great about what you can add your media, you can add a little GIF, you can just put an emoji, you can put any image you want, you can add a YouTube video. So your YouTube video could have questions in it, and then students had to watch that and then answer that. You can record a video, and that just uses your camera. And you can record your question. That's another way to post that question. So here I am again. I'm going to X out of this. So if you didn't want to just only have your question like typed here, you can hit record your video. So then I can record and say, how do we create our first Flipgrid? I'm showing you now. Please tell me what you think. Then hit stop, hit next. How do we next? Take your photo. Next upload. Congrats. Woo! And complete. So then here we have our topic. So I named it test topic. I'm going to set it as you can talk for 1 minute and 30 seconds. I just picked a random question. How do we create our first Flipgrid topic? And then our focus, which is optional. Basically, the focus is when you get to this grid, when students open this grid, it can be like a big picture they see, or a video they click on, or it could be a video of you like I just put. And then if you're all done, we hit create topic. And it's ready. Your topic is ready. What's awesome about Flipgrid, and I really like, and it's how I set it up for my computers class, is it can be very easily integrated into Google Classroom, which is a resource a lot of us use. Or you could just copy and paste this link. You can share the QR code that they could scan with devices. But the easiest way for any of you teachers will probably be just to click share to Google Classroom. So you would just click on that, and it'll bring up like a login thing, and I can pick, I want to put this in 5th grade computers. And then I click that, and I want to choose an action. I want to make an announcement, create an assignment, and then I can go ahead and hit go, and then it puts it in the classroom ready for me. So then when students go to their Google Classroom page, they can just click on that, and it'll bring them straight to the grid. So then I'll just hit all set, and it would bring you right here. So then a student would come, they would see, it would be labeled, it would be titled whatever you make it. They would see the question here, or whatever you had typed, background story, the requirements in your video must include this and be this long, and then they can watch this video that I created. And that video would be you asking the question, or whatever that you had put. That is also where like my Bitmoji went, so it's whatever you make it. But here's our topic. And then all a student would do is that they would log in, they would come here, it would look a little different in student view. There would be like a big green button. All they do is click that, it brings up their camera, and they can respond. It's pretty great. I love it. It's great for communication. It's great for any subject. It's great for any age. I used it in college. I didn't use it till I got to college. I used it in courses that would use it for, we would read a book, or we would watch like a section of a movie to talk about, social stuff, and we would have to respond to about how we gained from learning from that perspective, and then we had to also communicate with other classes. One thing to show you, once you have made your topic, you can edit, actions, you can edit your topic. There is a little more that you can do with it. So You can put different links on there. One major thing to show you, and this is completely up to you, is video moderation. And that is something that you only have to do if you really want to do. It'll create a little more work for you, but it might help students be willing to make their videos. I know that's some of the issue once they start getting into middle school. So what video moderation is you make this grid, and the student goes and he creates their video. It can go one of two ways. When they're done with that video, it can just go on the grid right away, and everyone can see everyone's, and they can go in and watch them and see everybody's. Or if you turn this video moderation on, videos will be hidden from them, so they will make their video and they'll submit it, but they won't see theirs, they won't see anybody else's. It'll all be hidden until you as a teacher activate them. It depends on the topic. It depends on how comfortable your students are with this program. It depends on your requirements. Is this something where they're sharing something personal and you have to okay before others see it? You have to get permission. That's a case-by-case thing. But you do have the ability to turn it off so that students can only see them when you tell them they can, or if you just leave it off, then they just see everybody's instantly and they all pop up right away. You can change it so that this topic is active, it can take videos, it's frozen, or you hide it. You can set the day, so like I make my topic, it's all ready to go, but we're not going to start this till next week. I'm not going to start it till February 4th. So I can set it to that it's not going to be available till February 4th. And then you can also set, do you want it to be just good forever after then, or they only have the 4th and it has to be done by the 5th. And then you can say, by the 5th, you can no longer post to this. And then you can change some things here about titles and are they allowed to like each other's videos. I usually have that off because that kind of makes it a social media-ish. I don't really think you gain anything by being able to like, because then you run into just the gray area of getting likes and not getting likes, and it shouldn't be about that. And then you can also kind of you can change the feedback. It can kind of help you if you can build like a custom feedback thing, and you can add your own criteria to make like a rubric if you plan to use this for a project or something that you're going to for sure grade by like having at least 2 facts. That you can create a rubric on there that will be the students will be able to view and also use while making their video, which is great. So a lot of different things that you can tweak and change to make it personalized to your lesson. I'm just going to cancel because I'm not going to make any changes. But that's it. You just go to flipgrid.com. If you have an account, you probably already know how to use it. But if you've gotten signed in, it'll probably make you make a grid right away and just label one. I would just label it like 2nd grade classroom or 4th grade classroom. And then once you have your grid, you can click in that grid and you create topics. So your topic is just basically going to be each individual question. It just keeps them separate. So like you don't want to have one topic that's like, name 2 things you learned from this article. And then if you read another article, they're putting it on the same one. There's going to be it'll just get all mixed up. That's why you create separate topics. And a nice thing about creating separate topics, if you go into next year, you can just click on it and you can like duplicate the topic. So you can just make a copy of it, and then it'll give you the option to like remove the videos in there and just duplicate the topic, the video you put, the question that you're asking, and it just makes a copy that you can use next year and put right into Google Classroom. So sorry if it felt like I rambled, but hopefully that was enough that you could understand walking through it and how to make one, how to use it. And I'm totally here to help. I would love to meet with you person to person, but making videos like this really helps me get to everybody if they want to. That's also the great thing. Some of you might not even watch this, but some of you are going to be super excited and might try this out in your classroom. Then just give me a call, send me an email, or come stop and see me in my office. I'll come look, I'll come help you do it, we'll try it out, and just make sure it gets set up, and I'm all for that. So hopefully this helps. Hopefully you gained something from it. Even if you didn't, oh well. And I would love to work with you about using this in your classroom. Thank you.